always thought first contact would be a handshake, maybe a broadcast. Not a metallic shriek ripping through the Antarctic sky followed by an entire research compound losing gravity for 6 terrifying seconds. One moment I was cataloging ice core samples. The next, I was levitating like a panicked balloon. By the time gravity returned, I wasn't in Antarctica anymore. I was on a ship. The air tasted metallic, warm, almost sweet. Dim crimson lighting pulsed like a heartbeat through the corridors. Strange glyphs crawled along the walls as if alive. Every sound echoed. My footsteps, my breath, even my heartbeat seemed amplified. Then I saw her. A figure glided forward, tall, poised, draped in armor that shimmered like liquid obsidian. Her eyes glowed wine red, pupils slit like a cat's. Her skin was pale with a faint violet hue, and her hair, long black, flowing as if underwater, framed a face too perfect to be human. She stopped before me and smiled, revealing slender fangs. "Human," she said, her voice smooth and dark as midnight silk. "You stand in the presence of Queen Serindra Vaelith, matriarch of the Dravari, sovereign of the Crimson Throne, and keeper of the Nightstar Empire." Her gaze swept over me like she was assessing livestock. "You have been chosen." You'd think I might be shaking or stuttering. No. I was exhausted, annoyed, and still wearing my thermal research gear. "Chosen for what?" I asked. Her smile widened. "To kneel." She lifted a hand, fingers tipped with elegant black claws. "Kneel before your queen." Something snapped inside me. Maybe it was fear. Maybe defiance. Or maybe I just didn't like being abducted by a cosmic vampire monarch in the middle of my research week. "No," I said simply. Her eyes narrowed. "No. You heard me." She tilted her head, genuinely intrigued. "You dare disobey a Dravari queen." "Lady," I sighed. "I haven't slept in 30 hours. If you want me on my knees, you're going to have to force me." The room fell deathly quiet. Her attendants gasped. The air tightened like a drawn bowstring. "But the queen," she laughed. Not a mocking laugh. Delighted one. "Middle, the tests and the truth." I expected immediate punishment. Instead she gestured and 2 guards grabbed my arms. "Bring him," she ordered. They hauled me through corridors into a massive chamber filled with floating crystals, holographic maps, and rows of ancient relics. It looked like a cathedral crossed with a war room. At its center was a throne of black stone and pulsating red veins, alive in a horrifyingly literal sense. The queen sat and regarded me. "You possess no augmentations, no repulsor implants. Your biology is unremarkable." "Wow," I muttered. Really boosting my confidence here. "And yet," she continued, ignoring my sarcasm, "you resist me." She leaned forward. "Do you know what the Dravari are, human?" My silence was answer enough. "We are not vampires. Your myths are shadows of a truth your species never understood." She gestured at her fangs. "These evolved from a world where the atmosphere was thin and energy scarce. We consumed life force, not blood. That's somehow worse." She stood and approached me. Up close, her presence was overwhelming. A gravity of its own. "Every species we encounter kneels," she said softly. "Some out of fear. Some out of reverence. Some because they know resistance is futile." "Well," I said, "I'm not most species." "No," she whispered. "You are not." She extended one claw-tipped finger and touched the center of my forehead. My body froze. Not from fear, literally froze. My muscles locked. My breath halted. My heartbeat slowed. Telekinesis, I realized. Or something close to it. "Now," she said, "kneel." She applied invisible pressure downward. My legs trembled. But I clenched every muscle I had. Electricity shot down my spine. My knees shook, but didn't bend. I forced out a breath. "Is that all you've got?" Her eyes flared, crimson turning almost white. The pressure doubled, tripled. My bones felt like they were being compressed, my vision tunneling. But I still didn't kneel. Finally, the force vanished and I collapsed, Not to my knees but to my hands, gasping. The Queen stared at me like I'd broken a law of physics. You resist my command. Impossible. I coughed out. Guess I'm not good at following orders. She turned to her advisors. Begin analysis. I want his brain scanned, his genes sequenced, his neural patterns mapped. Whoa, hey, protested. But it was too late. I was dragged into a scanning chamber where arrays of alien instruments hummed and glowed. Needles of light passed through me. Harmless but disconcertingly warm. Hours later, or what felt like hours, I was returned to the throne room. The Queen stood with a data tablet, her expression unreadable. Human, she said quietly, your defiance is not biological, nor is it psychological. Then what is it? She studied me with an intensity that felt dangerous. It is intentional. Blink. Everything I do is intentional. No. You misunderstand. She stepped forward. Dravari mental dominance works only on minds seeking hierarchy, minds conditioned to submit in the presence of overwhelming authority. And mine isn't. Yours rejects authority entirely. Well, I said, my high school teachers could have told you that. But inside I felt something shift. This wasn't about a bad attitude. To the Dravari, hierarchy was oxygen. Their entire empire functioned on dominance, subservience, and psychic control. And I was immune to it. To them that made me. I'm a threat, I whispered. She nodded. Yes, a threat. Or a possibility. Middle, the escape attempt. That possibility kept me alive, for the moment. But I wasn't planning to stay. When they put me in a holding chamber, I noticed small details. Panel seams, the pattern of security drones, the timing of energy fluctuations. Antarctic fieldwork teaches you to observe relentlessly. I pulled a metal strip from my thermal suit, jammed it into the vent grating, and pried it open. Crawling through the vents wasn't easy. They were hot, narrow, and filled with a constant vibration from the ship's power core. But I made it to the docking bay. A shuttle sat there, sleek and needle-shaped. Just as I climbed in, the lights blazed crimson. She appeared behind me. Queen Serindra. Going somewhere. Back to Earth, I said. She crossed her arms, amused. You think you can pilot Dravari starcraft? I once drove a snowmobile through a blizzard with one headlight, I muttered. How much harder can this be? Much. She stepped forward. I raised a fallen guard's stun baton. Back up. Her eyes glowed faintly. You would strike a queen. If you try to drag me back to that throne room, yes. We stared at each other. Then she did something unexpected. She lowered her guard, and bowed her head slightly. Very well, human. If you refuse to kneel, then walk beside me instead. I hesitated. Was this a trick? She extended a hand. I have ruled for centuries, she said quietly. No one has ever resisted me. No one has ever challenged me. No one has ever spoken to me without fear. Her eyes softened just a fraction. You are the first. My grip on the baton loosened. She continued. If you stay, you will not be my prisoner. You will be my equal. Ending the battle and the choice. Before I could answer, alarms blared. The ship shook violently. Serindra's expression hardened. Rebels. They have tracked us. Rebels. They seek to overthrow the throne. They believe I grow weak. Your defiance may have confirmed their suspicions. Great, I muttered. Glad I could help. She summoned her armored guard. Prepare the night lance batteries. Shields to full. Explosions rocked the ship as enemy vessels, sleek, jagged, crimson-lit, opened fire. The Queen turned to me. I must fight. Stay here. No, I said. If I'm part of this now, I'm not hiding. She didn't argue. We ran through the corridors as the ship shook. Panels burst, spraying sparks. Dravari soldiers clashed with rebels in brutal, silent battles, their telekinesis slamming bodies into walls, bending metal, ripping weapons apart. I grabbed a fallen rebel's energy rifle. How does this work? shouted. Point and will it. Surindra yelled back. Will it? Before she could reply, a rebel charged us. I instinctively pointed the rifle and willed it to fire. A pulse of white energy blasted the rebel backward. Oh, I said. That's kind of awesome. We fought side by side through the ship, pushing toward the command bridge. At one point, a collapsing beam nearly crushed Surindra, but I tackled her out of the way. She stared at me afterward, breathless, shocked. No Dravari would risk themselves for another. Well, I said, I'm not Dravari. Together we reached the bridge. Surindra raised both hands, unleashing a wave of psychic force that hurled rebel soldiers backward like rag dolls. The ship's systems stabilized. Shields recharged. They fled. Silence filled the bridge. Surindra turned to me. You saved my life, she said softly. Yeah, well, you saved mine earlier, so I guess we're even. No, she said. We are not even. She stepped closer. You have proven yourself more than defiant, more than immune. You are extraordinary. Her voice lowered. And I do not command equals to kneel. I met her gaze. So what now? She extended her hand once more. Not a command but an invitation. Now, human, you choose. Earth or the stars. Escape or alliance. Fear or defiance. I took her hand. Because I realized something. I hadn't resisted her because I hated authority. I resisted because she expected surrender. And I wasn't going to kneel for anyone. But walking beside a cosmic vampire queen. That sounded like the start of something bigger. She smiled, truly smiled. Then let the galaxy tremble, she said. And together we stepped into the future.